Hello again, everyone. We are continuing with the land of the Crescent. Here I have a very special guest, Mr. Özgür Özol. He is the founder and director of SiliconWorx, one of the very first game development studios of Turkey. They started with Fields of Hope, and then
in 1991.
And then in 1994 with Legends of Istanbul. But like this is not all about Özgür Özol. He was also the owner of the very first tabletop RPG cafe in Turkey, Sihir Cafe, Magic in English, and also a fantasy fiction author. So
true.
it is a privilege to host you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. You are welcome.
This is again pretty interesting for me because Mr. Özgür in 1994 they worked on Lale Savaşçıları, İstanbul Efsaneleri, Legends of Istanbul.
Tulip Warriors, it has so many names.
And in 2016, with my team in Cultic Games, we have worked on an RPG game called Stygian, Reign of the Old Ones.
I was here when you were developing it.
And you visited us.
It was 6 years ago or 7 years ago.
And you know, I was pretty foolish at the time because I really adored RPGs, but I did not have any idea how challenging, how difficult it was to make an RPG game. And we were using some kind of a game engine called Unity. And people were more proficient. And you amazingly made an RPG game in 1994. Because it started. And you do not have any kind of a coding background.
No, I did.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, of course. You should be crazy to, not only in my time, but also today, you have to be crazy to do something like this. Like this, I mean, doing something that people people think that is impossible to do, and you take up on that challenge. This is kind of my thing. I think, throughout my life, I always did things that other people said it was impossible to do. Or they couldn't conceive it. I mean, how can you develop a computer game?
So what kind of games were you playing back then, before starting Legends of Istanbul?
We played. First of all, it was not me. It wasn't only me that developed those games. In Fields of Hope, my first published game, we were a team of 3, and an additional 3 of supporting cast. It was not only me. I was the main coder, but the development was with a team. And that team,
here we see Legends of Istanbul.
It has been a while since I saw the game. This is Ümraniye, I think.
Wow, the Ümraniye state. Cool.
In those days, Ümraniye was a forest like this, was a jungle. And today, I think Ümraniye is one of the cosmopolitan areas of Istanbul. I don't live in Istanbul
a lot of residential area, for sure.
I don't live in Istanbul anymore, and I don't like Istanbul.
We will talk about Istanbul.
We
will talk because your game is about Istanbul.
So to your question,
what kind of games?
Our group of friends were in those days. We played any type of board game that we could find. Find is the keyword there because you couldn't find anything. There was no internet.
You're talking about 90s.
1991. In 1990 or 1991, I think, I was playing, I guess, Champions of Kryn on the computer. The SSI
Goldbox,
RPG,
Goldbox games.
One of the first Goldbox games, and somehow I got a magazine came into my hands. I don't know how, and I saw that the Dungeons and Dragons game was not only a computer game; it was in fact a tabletop role-playing game.
Okay.
I learned from that magazine.
Oh, so like you started D&D with computer
With computer
games.
games, yeah. And then I learned that this is a computer. This is not a computer game. This is a tabletop game. I had a friend in the United States back then. I wrote, and somehow it took a long time. Maybe 6 or 7 months later, I received the first copy of the second edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook copy, not the original book.
Yeah. I started with that one as
Yeah.
well, I guess.
And then it went all the way downwards. I found myself
Obsessed some
yeah,
kind of...
I found myself obsessed with any type of games, but especially Dungeons and Dragons. So we made Fields of Hope, not the role-playing game. It was the first game.
Okay, this is interesting. This
Yeah.
is interesting because like
You have
with
some
my-
surprise questions for me, I know.
Yeah,
and I'm
like
waiting for them.
with my students, like in the first year, in the game design course, one of the first things that I make them do as a practice of game design is playing RPGs and like DMing role-playing scenarios because like I believe
game mastering.
yeah, because I believe like that is the very core of game design. Because like that is how you check the people, your players, and learn about like their motivations, like if a system is working or not. It's a very good experimentation ground. Can you say that?
This is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have evolved from tabletop to like naturally to Legends of Istanbul.
I was always a leader, kind of a leader in my friend group, and naturally I was the game master of the group. But what you said is so true. I didn't think about it like this, but I will, because game mastering makes you prepared for things, and like you said, checking the feedback from the players as you go.
Yeah.
So it's
If they're bored,
yeah,
like it is your doing because like you're running the game.
it's your fault. Yeah. So it's a really good practice for any game developer. I like your idea.
Thank you. Do you still game master, like dungeon master games?
I haven't done it for 3 or 4 years, and now I am not in Istanbul, and I live in a village. So it's a little difficult for me to actually find people to play on the table. But when my internet connection gets better this year,
Roll 20?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
My internet connection will be better this year in the village, and then I'm planning to organize games in my fantasy setting. I guess it's in your
The novel?
the novel, yeah.
Okay.
It's in your surprise questions, I guess. In my fantasy setting,
Let me write it down.
and I plan to master some games, and eventually write another novel on that,
Very
that
cool.
campaign setting.
Very cool.
But,
So
but first I have to have a stable internet connection in the
Okay,
village.
yeah, that is
So
very
yeah,
essential.
Yeah.
So like if we return to Legends of Istanbul,
Okay.
Games, especially RPG games, they take pretty long to complete, and there are many
To complete playing or to complete developing?
both.
Both, yeah.
But like for developing, I mean, there are many very good RPGs out there who are not very complete, like which has really good like beginning and mid sections, and I can name my own game, as a similar RPG.
You feel it like that? For your own game?
Like some of my
unfinished.
some of my like very dear to heart RPGs like Knights of the Old Republic 2 or like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, like they all suffered from like over ambition and stuff like that. But like for your game,
Yeah.
can you say that like it ended like you envisioned at that time, like 1994, or somehow? Now, how
Well,
did you manage the production without
of all-
knowing anything about game production, for example? So
By
I'm
God's
curious.
help, I guess by God's help and luck. I cannot say that the game was finished because the game ends. It says to be continued on the screen, and the game ends like this.
Okay.
To
okay.
be
But there was some kind of a cliffhanger, right?
Actually, it was not a real cliffhanger, but it was something like a hook to the next chapter.
Okay.
The story ends, and actually, it's interesting that Lale Savaşçıları, İstanbul efsaneleri, what do you call it? Legends of Istanbul.
Legends of Istanbul.
Legends of Istanbul is weak at the start in ways of the plot and the story, and it gradually strengthens towards the end. I feel it like that.
Because you got better as a storyteller, maybe?
Maybe, and I did the mistake of writing this story from beginning to the end, I guess. And in the end, the story gets better. In the beginning, the story is not that strong. People love that we were playing football and our ball goes there and we go after it and there's a gateway.
Yeah, I'll talk about that one too.
That start interest people, of course, but the main plot is not really strong at the beginning, and the game is not rich enough in the beginning, in my opinion. As the game and the plot progresses, it gets richer and more. It gives a more complete feeling to me.
Speaking of the plot, let's come to the lore side of things. You told that like you started with like Dungeons and Dragons, and like you were more or less obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons, just like I was.
After I started playing tabletop,
Yeah.
it was an obsession.
Yeah, like me as well. So like we share the same fate on that. But interestingly, you did not create a fantasy universe that takes place in a universe of elves and dwarves.
Yeah, I created a fantasy universe.
Yeah. But for the game,
it was not really fantasy, you know. It was something like a
on tabletop, you mean?
Yeah, no. In Legends of Istanbul.
I know. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
But like instead of going for fantasy,
elves and dwarves and things like that.
Yeah, you have chosen an urban setting that like somehow was a more or less reflection of 90s culture, and like I'm also from Istanbul, so like I was associated to the like Magandas or all those kinds of characters from the 90s because like they were like some kind of reality
they were
of
real,
our life. So how did that kind of a decision happen?
Actually, there's a story behind that. We were two developers. Me and Özgür Doğu Gürcan are the two developers and coders and writers and everything of the game.
Yeah, I can guess.
We were two young developers then. And we were, I guess in Şişli or something like that, we were walking one night and a woman was walking just 10 meters or so in front of us. And a man came after the woman and he harassed her. And the woman started screaming and police came and said to the woman that if you didn't shake it that way, he wouldn't come. The police said that to the woman. We were just 10 meters behind. We were watching that scene. And after the scene, we looked at each other, Özgür and Özgür, and we said, let's make a game of this city and of this
like you probably
obscene
said, like,
culture.
This is bonkers. So like we have to turn this into a
Yeah,
setting.
this is obscene, and we have to make this culture, this cultural feeling, that the feeling that we have right now against this abomination. We have to reflect this feeling to others.
Okay.
So
we were sure that's kind of a protest.
Of course, Legends of Istanbul is mainly a political and social protest. It's deeply rooted in that.
Yeah.
And we managed to do it in a very cartoony and comical way.
Okay.
And that was I think people really liked that light but serious mood of it.
Yeah.
It is light, it is funny, but its main plot.
It's dark.
It's
also dark.
It's a dark comedy.
Yeah.
In fact, Legends of Istanbul is a dark comedy.
This is like somehow a different coincidence again because like Stygian, yes, it is a Lovecraftian game, but like I can name both Cultic games titles to include a form of black comedy, a form of dark comedy in it. This is again an interesting coincidence. So like if we come and we talked about like your cinematics and like how people were, you know, enjoying those cinematics, but you might be the one of the very first studios in Turkey to use digitized video.
Yeah, of course.
For cinematics.
It was an adventure because.
Let me add something else. Like I remember some lighting effects and a portal. Can we, show that video to the audience?
There is that Alper with the fan and the, I think you're mentioning that's what.
I lived in Mecidiyeköy for 5 years, so
Well,
I know
my
very
house
close
is
to Trump building, very closely.
Okay,
like,
so we were neighbors.
It wasn't built then.
This wasn't built, there was an open cinema. Like that.
I was very close to Kuştepe, by the way, so I just feel the asphalt. Yeah, like we will see the lighting effects and the portal effects. You know, like in Turkey there were almost no visual effects like that on TV, but you somehow pulled it off. The visual effects, it is good for the time. So like, how did you manage it?
Somehow, as you said, we pulled it up. Many aspects of this project can be defined as somehow pulled off. I really don't remember. I think the gateway is here.
Yeah.
I really don't remember, and I cannot believe how we managed to do these things today. In fact, you have to.
I love the Halloween T-shirt.
Of course, but in the game it's a Megadeth T-shirt, not a Halloween T-shirt.
So like these are the classes, right? This is the metalhead. That one is the redneck and stuff like that.
Redneck is a good word for it. How do you define lavuk?
Asshole?
Asshole. Maybe. a metalhead, a redneck, an asshole, and what's the last one? What do you call it? Maganda değil.
Right wing kind of a.
Right wing kind of a.
Let's say right wing. Let's say right wing. Stop there. Yeah. Okay.
If you have the other video, Mr. Director, the making of video shows actually how we made that gateway. I think there are two people just below that gateway. I think you have a shot of this. One of them is holding a fan.
Sizinle keyifle
and the other one
izleyeceğiniz bir
is
haberimiz
holding
var.
the yellow light.
Cervantes'in ünlü Don Quixote'unu biliyorsunuz. Yardımcısı Pancho ile birlikte her türlü kötülüğe karşı savaşırken yer değirmenlerine de saldırırlar. Şimdi de bir grup genç İstanbul'u kurtarmak için savaşıyor. Bugünün çağdaş Don Quixote'larının silahı ise bir bilgisayar. İstanbul'u kurtarmak kimilerine göre artık bir hayal. Ama bir bilgisayar bunu başarabiliyorsa denemeye değmez mi? İşte çağdaş Don Quixote'lar ve İstanbul'un ikinci kurtuluş öyküsü.
İstanbul günden güne nüfusuyla birlikte sorunları da artan bir şehir. Her gün
Single-handedly programmed
two people.
Four-handedly. But it is still like a huge load.
We wrote
you
it.
had a map system, you had an inventory system.
We had a story system. That's the most important part.
You did not use any kind of a tool.
No.
And like you have.
We only used the basic.
This is unbelievable. This is
Thank you.
Like you have
Thank you. I cannot believe
something.
it
You have created something like within the limitations of Amiga, without any prior programming language.
No.
This is like I don't know what kind of a dark power helped you, but thank you for
thank you.
Something like this in 1994. Really.
I think it was a dark. I don't know if it was dark or light, but there was a power there, and made us two.
Okay.
The other one is that metalhead. In the video, you said that the Halloween T-shirted guy is the other developer. He's the other Özgür.
Okay. Do you still see each other? Are you still good friends?
Of course, we are good friends, but he is a plasma physicist now.
Oh.
He is in
Switzerland
trying to destroy the world. He's working on that super, what do they call it? Superconductor thingy that tries. They are trying
in CERN?
I think it's CERN.
Okay.
They are trying to open a gateway to hell, and we'll all be consumed by demons. He's working on that project now. So, I saw him 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, we are good friends.
Cool.
But he's trying to destroy the world because he hates this world more than I do. I ran away to a village. He's trying to destroy the world. We have to
Okay.
be different.
This is SiliconWorx today. All right.
Yeah, not all of SiliconWorx, but mainly we are all doing strange things.
I see. So like
Because we are strange guys.
Aren't we all?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So
I think I'm older than you. So in 10 years or so, you will be doing a strange thing.
a
I'm
lot
sure.
stranger.
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
I'm like, I hope I won't lose my strangeness anytime soon. Thank you. So like, if we return to the gaming side of things again, you said that like Dungeons and Dragons was a big part of your life. But you probably played a lot of computer RPGs, apart from like the Crying series, Goldbox series. Like, which game for you? Which game, computer RPG, is the apex?
Of
Of
for my developer,
no, like as a player,
the best game I ever played.
the best RPG game ever played, or like the best RPG game that affected you the most.
That one, Champions of Kryn.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it was the first?
This was the first. It was my first experience. Not Champions of Kryn, but Goldbox games, I should say.
Pool of Radiance.
Generally, and the Dragonlance part of it.
Yeah.
The
Death Knights of Crime.
Yeah, and the
Dark Queen of Crime.
That Goldbox Dragonlance series was the apex for me in RPG genre. In general, maybe I should be counting Sid Meier's Pirates.
Very important game, for sure.
In my gaming history as a gamer, not as a developer, but as a gamer. So, of course, as a developer too, I have been influenced by that. Sid Meier's Civilization, of course. I'm just naming big classics, you know, Pirates and Civilization and Goldbox games. Those were the games that inspired me the most.
The early days of SSI, it was a time to remember, for sure.
Golden times,
for sure. I want to return to those games again, actually, like the Goldbox games. The Amiga graphics, like, they were better when compared to the PC graphics those days.
Of course, in
I really wanted to play them in Amiga, but I didn't have the chance, so...
You didn't have an Amiga?
I did, but like I did not have that game. I did
not have that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was also, it was also a problem those days. Like, if you do not have a friend, like, who could copy.
Of course.
So I'd like to have a fun fact to add. The guy that we see at the lower left corner of the screen is our
director.
Yeah, broadcast director actually. And
he's
as far as I know, he is the only person who completed your game on Twitch in Turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and he's now our director.
Yeah.
Kudos to him.
Yeah, it cannot be a better coincidence, huh? So, if we return to the game development, you have worked on 2 games, like the Farming Simulator, a game very early, 1991, The Fields of Hope, and then Legends of Istanbul, 1994. How was the reception to your games? Because I remember seeing you on TV those days, and we have a footage of that.
Do you?
Actually, yeah. So you told me that it's a black comedy. So how did the audience and the players in the 90s took your game? Did they take it seriously? Did they understand what's going on? Because there's satire in it. So how was the reception generally?
Well, there were many levels. Come to that. There were many levels of reception in gaming terms and in gamers' eyes. The game was really appreciated and celebrated, and it is still celebrated today.
Yeah,
it's the reason that I am here.
For sure.
In gaming terms, people loved it, but the main aspect of the game that the TV shows and things like that took an interest in the game was, of course, for political reasons.
I see.
Because Turkey was on it was a different Turkey.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
But everybody that is watching us doesn't. Maybe they don't know it. Turkey was on the verge of great change.
Yeah, at least ATV had some kind of a vaporware set at the time.
Yeah. Today, and this
And
is the two guys. Yeah.
He is the other Özgür.
He's
right?
the other Özgür. Yeah. He is also the.
He looks like even those days he was looking like a scientist who is going to destroy the world.
Yeah,
really.
and he
So
will.
I'm
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
He will. He will destroy
How
the
many
world.
years do we have?
He's working on
Özgür
it.
Özol, student. That's all. No other title.
Student. What I don't know what my title is in this show.
SiliconWorx founder,
Because
game designer.
when Güven asked me about my title, I told him to write. What did I tell you? Master of past and present and all the known universe. You didn't write that. So the game had different kinds of reception. In gaming terms, gamers loved it. Gamers loved the fact that two young student guys managed to pull something like that off. It was really an achievement, and people acknowledged it.
Wow.
Acknowledged it.
Wow.
And there was no problem with that. But on the other side, on the satire side and the dark comedy side, we received two forms of feedback, I should say. One of them was, and is still today, that we were right and Turkey was on the verge of collapse, and we were just pulling the right strings about Turkey's social and political climate. Many people thought that we were just making fun of Turkey's coming change. And after 30 years, people still write to me asking how the hell we foresaw future.
I see.
They literally ask me that today.
I see.
And the answer I give them.
Okay, so I can say that like people were also expecting some kind of a continuation.
Of course,
it
they
was-
are still waiting.
Yeah, I know.
And when this what do you call it, this Steam event was announced, many people wrote to me from Twitter that we should do the second game and things like
so
that.
happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I was asking you just that thing. Like you made 2 games in 90s.
I made 4 games, but I published 2 games.
Yeah, like which means even more experience. And like at a very early age, you collected a lot of development experience.
Yeah.
And we know that also in today's terms, development experience and the team is the thing
Yeah, it's about
to
the
market.
team. It's about the
okay?
team.
And like you did not continue.
Yeah,
Why, sir?
because there are many reasons about it. One of the main reasons was we needed, I should say, more people. And we tried to create an environment, as you said, Sihir Cafe, Magic Cafe, a gaming cafe that it was the first of its kind in Turkey, and I think it was the peak. After that, many likes.
Yeah, like so many good memories I
Yeah.
had at that place.
But we needed people. The vision was with me and Gökhan, and Özgür was not with us then. After this game, he went to the United States to study plasma physics, and after that he started to destroy the world thing, and he went another way. But the other guys that made the game for the PC version, you ask for the videos and things like that. There's a thing called a compact disc, you know. We didn't know that then. And when Rux, the sponsor of the PC version, asked us to do the videos for the game, it was the first Turkish game that would include some videos and CD videos in it. But we didn't have any code with us to read from a compact disc recorder. And we didn't have a compact disc player. Literally, we didn't have that hardware. And they asked us to write a code to read from the compact disc. So we had to literally learn the electronics of it. And theoretically, write down the code so that when Rux manages to find us a compact disc player, we could have the code ready. And we wrote that code just from the electronics of it. I didn't write it. Gökhan-san wrote that code. I'm just telling you this because we needed guys of this caliber to continue.
Okay.
And guys of this caliber are not easily
Easy
found.
to find. Yeah.
Easy to find.
Okay. Especially at that time in Turkey.
Yeah, even today.
Yeah.
Even today,
That is
because
true.
today, of course, many talented coders are around. But that was genius. What Gökhan did back then, it was genius. And we
I
needed
see.
geniuses. Because if you want to do the challenging and unbelievable thing, you have
did not want to, can we say that you did not want to do the same thing again? You wanted to do something better.
Of course, bigger, better.
And
we
because
needed
it wasn't possible, because if you had stayed for just, a couple of people, the result won't be that different than Legends of Istanbul.
Yeah.
I see.
So we had to expand and we had to find people and we had to, that was our thought with Gökhan. We said, we have some money now from Legends of Istanbul. With that money, we should build up some kind of club or something like that. And people should come there and we will educate, train, and recruit people from there to make the next level of whatever we would do. That was the main reason for not continuing, because we first in 1996, Gökhan and I started developing Fields of Hope 2. And then we realized that we weren't enough.
Okay.
We had to do better. We had to find better people. We had to,
of course,
we had to expand the team.
It is still a problem in the scene. It is still, because this is an occupation that at first requires not technology, but people. Because we do not have any raw materials, we do not have any extremely fancy equipment.
You need vision.
If you have a vision and if you have the talent, but also if you have the companionship.
Yeah, of course. That's the main part. Because it is a long journey together.
Let's talk about this. It's
like the Fellowship of the Ring type of journey.
For sure. Yeah. That is why I asked you how did you end it?
You led a team in that project. I led a team. We both know how difficult it is
to work with people for more than 14 years.
And lead them.
Yeah.
You were the leader, sure. I was the leader. So we both know how difficult it is to lead a group of talented, intelligent people and to herd them into success towards the mission, vision and the mission. It's damn difficult.
Still very hard. Still very
of course it's hard because it has nothing to do with computer games.
Yeah.
It is about leading a group
It is about human condition.
Yeah, it's about leading. And these are smart, visionary, intelligent people.
Extremely talented
people. Yeah, talented people.
Go anywhere,
yeah, you have to find a way to herd them towards the vision, and it's difficult. You know this. I know that.
That is true.
So now you know that.
Okay, very good answer. What can I add, really? So, we have talked about the development scene back then. I'm sure you're observing some projects here and there today, and
they show me. Even after I don't look, they show me.
And you gave some workshops here in Bug Lab.
Yeah.
So I guess you have an understanding of how the game development scene works.
In Turkey?
Yeah, in Turkey these days. So when you compare...
This is a difficult question.
Yeah.
This is the controversial part here.
So when we compare development scene back then, you had your own scene.
There was no scene.
Yeah, you had your own scene.
Me and my teammates.
Buddies, yeah.
That was the scene.
Yeah, but today...
In our house.
Yeah, so
that was the scene.
Let's compare. What has changed from your perspective?
What has changed and what has not.
Yeah.
I guess we should be looking.
Fair.
Well, the main change, I think, this is not really about only the computer games discipline. It's a change that infects all young people in the world and in Turkey. And it is impatience and a feeling that I don't have to work hard, but I still deserve it feeling. In young men and women, in all disciplines and in the computer games, I see this. The main thing about this is, I think this is about social media, I guess. Everybody thinks he is entitled to greatness, but he's not. I'm sorry to say that, but you are not. Being entitled to something
requires like hard work.
It requires hard work, it requires blood, tears,
of course,
sweat, it requires vision, it requires talent, and not with
risk taking.
Yeah, and not with one guy. A group of people. They should be smart. They should be visionaries. They should be intelligent. They should be dedicated. The thing we just talked about, the leading part. The main thing that has changed is everybody thinks he is like this today. That's because of the social media thingy.
The narrative out there, like which somehow
I put
creates a lot of examples, like millions of, thousands of examples. So
maybe it is a little irrelevant of the topic, but I should say like this. I think human beings today see themselves from the outside too often.
Okay. And they lose connection with their inner flow, maybe?
I guess, or they see themselves as other things. They lose connection with themselves. And this the main result about this computer game thingy is that everybody thinks that he is a visionary, everybody thinks he's an artist, everybody thinks he has the guts and the talent and the skill to do this. They do not. Some do, and some do manage like you, but everybody does not have it. This is the main problem with game development industry in Turkey and in the world, but I see Turkey mainly.
I definitely understand your like doubts, but at the same time, when I look
this
at
is the negative part.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the positive parts, of course, but you go.
Yeah, like for me, for example, your story like creates some kind of a like really uplifting inspiration. Because like I say, like when I think about my students, like let's compare, because like in that television footage, you were like your title were just a student, right?
Yeah, I was
and
a student.
you know we have students here. We have game development students.
And
here.
I wasn't a game developing student.
Yeah, I know. Like
what I
we
was studying,
we couldn't even dream of that kind of a department back then. Right
course.
now, like this is reality, and like if two, please forgive me, like random guy could program, forgive my manners, a fucking RPG in 1994 without any kind of a, you know, prior knowledge.
This is not about programming.
I know.
This is just about vision.
Yeah, I know. Definitely. This is about willpower.
Yeah, vision and willpower.
Definitely.
Because I didn't know how to code, and I learned how to code.
I will come to that. Like if you can do that with just, you know, willpower, I guess it should give a huge amount of inspiration to our students who are learning all the tools of the trades, being trained by professionals, and like have really, really easy to use tools everywhere.
Your labs here are amazing.
Artificial intelligence support.
I saw your development labs and your incubation labs. They are amazing. I was sitting at my house in my room with an Amiga and a book, a single book.
How to code.
Yeah. And it was a 200-page book I had. There was no internet, John.
Yeah.
When I encountered a problem, either I find the answer in that 200-page book,
or find the answer yourself.
Find the answer yourself. Myself working on it for 2 months. There was no internet. I don't know if young people can conceive that word. There was no internet.
I'm sure this would inspire them.
Yeah, it should inspire them, because Then that's the part of the problem, I guess, because they have too much power, I think. They don't need willpower.
Or too much distraction, maybe?
No, that's another thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's distraction, but they have everything they need. They do not have to struggle for things they need. And success needs challenge. Success needs struggle. What
like
I mean by what
Alfred Bester says in the book, like tiger, tiger, star's my destination.
Yes.
If you're not challenged, you're nothing.
Yeah, you have to be challenged, and they can be challenged, of course. But I'm going to tell you an example. Some guy told me some years ago that what we did, not I did especially, but what we did in Fields of Hope and Legends of Istanbul was easy to do. This was a young man. I thought
this will turn into a great story to like close our conversation as well.
Okay.
I'm all ears, sir.
Okay. He told me that it was an easy task. And I thought about this in the following years after I beat the hell out of the I asked myself, what was the reason that he could just think that it was an easy task. It was a really insurmountably challenging, difficult task for us. And he should be aware of that. But he was not. Because he was thinking, I guess, it is easy to do it now, so it is an easy task. He thought I think his thought was in this chain. So I should say to the youngsters, it was not easy for us to do that. Nobody even had a personal computer in their houses when we coded and developed personal games for the personal computer in Turkey. It was really hard. It was a challenging task because, and now it's not challenging for you because we did it. Because that we did it, it is not challenging for you today. And your task, sir, is to find a challenge for your abilities, for your time, for your era, and all of this, what do you call this, laboratory, or what do you call it?
But kitchen.
Yeah, this kitchen, all these things at your disposal, of course, needs something more than Legends of Istanbul. Of course, it needs to be more complex, more difficult, but you have to be challenged. And challenge is not about technology. Challenge is about art. Challenge is about vision. You have to find, they have to find a project that will really challenge them, that will take years of their lives. Socially, financially, they should be really challenged, and they have to work their asses off. They have to envision a project that will need to work.
You have to work your asses off. Aspiring game developers.
And you should put the target, put the vision in a place like that. Of course, Legends of Istanbul is not your difficult task, but it wasn't difficult. It wasn't our difficult task, and now your difficult task should be. You
will find your own difficult task.
Yeah, you will find, and you will
work your asses off.
Work your asses off. Yeah.
So, thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Director, the only person that played Istanbul Efsaneleri on Twitch. Thank you.
We were with Özgür Özol, the creator of SiliconWorx, also the founder, and they worked on, as you saw, for the last 40 minutes, the very first computer RPG in Turkey, İstanbul Efsaneleri, Lale Savaşçıları, Legends of Istanbul. If you like you can search it over internet. It was a pleasure. We will continue with Pinti Panda and Meriçer Yürek. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you in 20 minutes.